We're live.
Oh, what is up, beautiful people? Everything's on fire. Everything's fine. It's great. Not a problem. How's everyone doing this fine Wednesday? We're getting ready for another LWDW. We're going to talk about some of the stuff going on in Linux and open source in general. And so, that's Pedro Mateus, and that's where Jill would be if California didn't hate power.
Yeah, no, LA is on fire, and the internet when it went away.
It did, didn't it? It just like poof. It's kind of fun. Oh.
It was kind of neat because it coincided exactly with the moment that you started the beep boop songs.
It did. I personally, I guess we should blame the beep boop song. That was a destroyer of Jill's. I mean, that would be an interesting shot. Hey everyone. That's what you get on return video. It's terrifying. There is no outage via the power company.
Okay.
All right, if you say so, man. Maybe Jill's power just got shy. That's stage fright.
Yes, hopefully Jill will be back soon. We're hoping.
I don't know, man. This is beep boop round 2. Maybe you're gonna go down.
Just pushing Carmen right now. Ooh, Californian fiber baboons. Yes. Yeah,
Wow.
It sounds very Castlevania-y.
My favorite thing about it is you give me a brand new, fresh opinion on the same songs every week.
Look, my mind is in different places every week, okay?
I'm just saying, man. Yeah, I dig it. Hey, tell everyone about your special project that you're working on.
Oh, yes. Hold on.
It'll be good for 5 minutes. We'll just keep going.
So, the Steam Box 360, it's packed in there. There's very little room for anything else. There's a few issues with it. They mostly seem to be centered around the fact that Linux doesn't support the Raven Ridge APUs, the 2400G and the 2200G. The ASRock motherboard, the Linux support is not very good, but I've sort of figured out a way to get it to start, so I can get it to start reliably. So that's progress. I guess we'll have to see whether or not the 418 or 419 versions of the kernel actually do something. Maybe we'll have to wait for the big 5.0. Who knows? There's also a couple of issues with games. People on Discord will know, of course, I complain about Dead Cells.
Everything.
It's like, yeah, Dead Cells, very clearly the game has started. Because I can hear the background music, but there is no video. The image just isn't showing, so I don't know what the hell's up with that. There's also an issue with Dirt Rally, which, when I start it, it creates a process called Dirt Rally, with a capital D and a capital R, and then it just stays there. It doesn't do anything beyond that. If I open up top through an SSH session, I can see that it's using like 10% of the 2400G, but it's not moving, and I let it sit for like 10 minutes and it didn't boot. So I decided to kill that process over SSH, and lo and behold, the game just started. So there's something with Dirt Rally and my particular weird configuration, which isn't letting the teeny tiny little splash window show up accordingly. The feral screen of Nope, that showed up just fine. And it's completely controllable with the Steam controller, so that's absolutely fine. It's just that process that it starts at first that's not going away when it should, and the game isn't starting, so that's annoying.
Isn't it fun doing stuff on Linux that not a lot of people have done before?
Yeah. I kind of, you know, I complain as I will, and I have. I am very much enjoying it. It's like poking at things and seeing what breaks.
Boom.
Boom.
Let's see. And boop. And Venn hardware, Pedro hardware.
Oh no, the LEDs on the like the little PCB that goes behind the Xbox 360 power button have been drilled out and replaced with other LEDs. One is for power, the other one is for hard drive activity. So I get blinky LEDs to tell me what's going on.
There we go. Been a while since we've seen that shot.
I
don't know. I mean, it's good that you're keeping the spirit of the Steam box alive, even though you're doing it in a rather perverse manner.
Yeah, as much as I tried to get SteamOS to run, it just wouldn't boot because it's using a stupidly old kernel. It's a 3-point-something kernel. I was sort of hoping because they had the like the Clockwork announcement, or not announcement, but the Clockwork stuff showed up on the repos a while back. So I was kind of hoping maybe they have like a beta image or something you can install from. Nope.
Alien. Well, listen. I mean, if you can find the pre-made Steam machines, get them, hide them, put them away for 10 years because that's going to be some retro collecting stuff.
Yeah.
It is. Saggist? An attempt was made.
Stop being so saggist, Strider. Just going around, sagging all over the place.
We need to add that to the script. I don't know what it's going to do, but...
There are those websites that take your picture and make you age, so we could totally sag Strider.
Setting up more mobile rig over LT. LT gets stuff done. Hashtag
Yeah.
Finland. And Helsinki, man. And Pedro when he first came to Britannia. There goes Pedro. It's just me now. It's kind of terrifying, isn't it? Oh, man. I guess I need to see what's going on. I kind of don't want to. Let me see. Oh, you better hope it's not just me. It's going to be the most boring Weekly Daily Wednesdays ever.
There be a refresh.
All right.
Okay.
You just poofed, man.
Yeah, no, on my end, you just poofed, so something happened with the Jitsi servers.
And I sent you a message that you never replied to.
You sent me a message? Oh
Immediately.
yeah, on the Hangouts, yeah.
Yeah, Pedro's like, fuck it, just leave him hanging.
I didn't see it. I have notifications disabled.
That's not very helpful if you need notifications.
I can see if I have a message waiting. If I look at the system tray, it's just that I didn't look at the system tray. I just thought, you know what, let's just refresh.
Okay, I'm just going to throw this in there. It's not a very good notification system if you can ignore it that easy.
It has a sort of streamer mode, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know I'm not going to win this argument, but I just got to get my piece out. That's all I'm doing, okay?
But yeah,
I'm getting a little taste of what Nori deals with on a daily basis. You just got to get it out. You're like, all right, do your thing, man.
Yeah, no, Nori, I love Nori. She actually fights me whenever I start doing this. She will enable me. I'm not entirely sure that's healthy, but I love that girl. I do.
All right. See, I think we could probably stretch another 15 minutes, but then after that we'll have to go.
Yes.
So, I played BioShock for the first time.
Yeah. Saw your screenshot.
Yeah. It runs.
And Carmageddon.
I just did, man. All right. Here's the thing. Here's the true on that. I was laying down last night and I was like, wait a minute. You know what? I'm going to play Carmageddon. I do not feel like coming down here and starting everything up. So, and then I waited until this morning. Had to get some stuff done. And I got around to it. It averages, with everything on medium, like it defaults to medium, about 6 to 8 frames a second at 1080p. So I'm actually surprised that it's managed to maintain similar performance running through Proton on Steam that it does natively on Windows.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about the same.
Yeah, no, I completely forgot about Carmageddon with this whole Proton thing. It's like, yeah, Carmageddon. Guess I need to try it now, too.
It runs. Here's my biggest issue. I'll talk more about this on Saturday is multi-monitor support with Wine. It's junk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, trying to get a game to start on the right monitor, full screen. Now, usually your only method of attack is to hopefully find a config file, set it to windowed.
Mm-hmm. There are some games, and even in Wine, this is a crapshoot, which if you set the primary display in the X configurations, if you set a primary display, it'll shoot the window to that display. But it's only some games.
Man, I went straight to X render, man. I was like, all right.
With with KDE, I can force it because KWin lets me set advanced window rules, and if I tell it start in these coordinates with this geometry, it does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't have that option, but it's a small price to pay for a desktop that doesn't crash.
To be fair, it's mostly the compositing that crashes.
That was the only issue with BioShock is even if I manually set it in the config file to 1080p on the UHD monitor, it's like, no, I don't believe you. I'm going to try to get over to this other monitor. So it's 1080p window. Not a bad game. Put about an hour into it. It runs completely acceptable. And when I say acceptable, I mean like 100, 120 frames.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sorry. But some people's like, it runs acceptable. What do you mean? Like 20, 19 to 20? Like that? No. No. Time out. That doesn't go.
With the Stalker yesterday, that's how I learned that I can force it with KWin. But then I thought, you know what? Hold on a minute. I let it spawn to the 4K monitor at 1080p. It does the Proton does the scaling to whatever your monitor resolution is. And then I set OBS to capture at 4K and stream it down to 720p, which worked well enough, except for like 1,000 dropped frames.
I was about to say that's why the image quality was kind of poo.
Yeah. So yeah, it was an attempt.
Outside of that, did it basically one-click install from Steam?
Oh yeah.
No.
One-click install, one-click run. The only bugs that it has are also present in Windows, and if you go to the PC Gaming Wiki, it tells you how to fix them.
And the shite show is definitely going to hit mainstream because they just released the compatibility mode to the mainline client. So even if you don't run the betas, you now have that option. So if you're thinking about doing that when you get home, have fun. You too can sit there for an hour and go, nope, that doesn't work. Nope, that one doesn't work either. Maybe if, nope,
I think I've gotten lucky because of the 6 games I've tried that aren't in the whitelist, they've all started.
Mm-hmm.
They play with varying degrees of success, but yeah, it's they start.
Ah, it's gone French. Well, I mean, it's going to be an interesting addition to Saturdays because anything that's in the whitelist is fair game.
Yeah, if Valve is willing to put their mouth where their money is to say, no, these games have been tested to work as well on Proton as they do in Linux with maybe a performance hit. Yeah.
No, Pedro, you're just being a gatekeeper. What you're saying is toxic. Toxic's my new word that I throw out because I'm incapable of having a real conversation discussing the actual underlying issues.
You're so toxic. Yeah, are you just going to call me toxic or do you want to talk about my toxicity?
What? Hate speech. Not even an inside joke, but with us, yeah. We've seen it all.
Mm-hmm. I'm just glad that the people I work with, even my boss, for all the flaws that she has, she knows how to have fun and she knows how to make jokes and she knows how to drop a swear word when it's needed. And yeah, no, it's awesome. The people I work with are awesome. The ones downstairs, not so much. But the ones right there in that little cluster of desks.
You see, the unfortunate thing is we haven't informed Pedro that cunt is not a term of endearment as it is in Australia and the UK.
Oh, no. See, Nathan's already gotten in trouble for that. He had to have a little meeting with HR. So we know where that particular line is drawn.
13. So, what? Oh yeah, 20. Christian server? All right.
Apparently this is a Christian server now.
Hail Jesus.
Hail Satan! Terra!
Satan.
Hail the Super Saiyans!
Kind of tried to keep an eye out. I left a note upstairs on the front door for the FedEx guy who's supposed to be bringing me a thing, and you never know. It's always psychological warfare because you don't want to be like, yo, listen, I'm doing something downstairs, so take this downstairs around back. You got to phrase it just right. Be like, hey, man, this is what I wrote. It's like, hey, I didn't write man. I was like, it's like, I'm doing a show. I'm downstairs in the basement. There's a back door. If you go around the house and come down, could you leave? If you could, I understand. Leave the package down there. If not, just leave it right here. That's fine. You know, false options.
Yes.
Try to guilt them.
Make them think it was their idea.
Right. So let's see. What do we have up this week? Chromebooks, Ubuntu phones, Intel benchmarks, bubble wrap, firmware, Bollywood Blender, microkernels, and Windows.
Yep.
Christian server.
Wouldn't be Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays if it didn't have a little bit of Windows.
Is Brad alive yet? I know Turbo Brad and Meeseeks were having issues yesterday.
I saw someone talk through Shatbridge, so that one is up. I don't know about
the other
well,
Shatbridge is ours. We're running that.
Yeah, Well, Turbo Brad is there. And Me6 is also in the channel. Let's see. There's a Turbo Brad.
Yeah, almost. Cool.
And Me6 would be... Yeah.
Poke.
It's a hedgehog.
I guess, man. I guess.
Apparently there's an infestation of hedgehogs around here.
Okay.
It's like, I see them a lot, to be fair. It's like, on this side of the river, there's a lot of free roaming that they can do, so yeah, makes sense.
Do you just run around chasing them, throwing coins at them?
No. And their rings? Yeah, no, you see, the hedgehogs here, considering how polluted the river is, they're diseased.
All hedgehogs are diseased. They're filthy, filthy little animals. What is it? Scientifically accurate hedgehogs? Good YouTube video. Go watch it. I haven't played Sonic in a long time. It'd be nice, Sega, if you'd bring some of that over to Linux.
Oh, that Sonic game that BioWare developed that no one liked, the one with the werewolf. He turns into a hog wolf.
I tapped out of Sonic. The last Sonic game I owned was a Sonic CD, which was Sonic the Hedgehog with a better soundtrack.
I played, let's see, I think the last one I played was Sonic 3D on the Saturn, which people always said was the worst, but I liked it. To be fair, I didn't have many games on the Saturn, so I had to make do.
All right, where are we at? 425. Jill, what are we looking like? I mean, I know personally we're looking like horrible, but...
Come on, Jill. You're our one shred of credibility on this show. Come on.
Let's see. So it's a 4... Oh, okay. I need to set that up. Wait, no I don't. That's right. That'll drive somebody fucking insane. Get it right there. There we go. Don't want to notice that. I think that's good. I don't have a cursor. Haha.
800 euros is not a cheap laptop. I know when I bought my cheapo Lenovo, it was 320 after I got the refund for the Windows license. It was 370 with 4 gigs, but then with the refund and threw in like extra 30 or something euros, managed to get the RAM up to 8 gigs and 250 gigabyte 750 Evo SSD. So yeah, no, that was for a really cheap laptop. That was nice.
It depends on what you need a laptop for. I mean, if you need a laptop for work, 800 euros is plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get refunds for Windows license.
if you live in the European Union. So as long as the UK is in the EU, it's fine.
I can't. See, I know I'm hearing things. More so than usual.
Okay.
I gotta go upstairs and get something to drink anyway, so I gotta go check and see if I got a package. Giggity.
All right.
Or I'm not gonna be able to do the show. I'm stupid.
Is it here yet? Is it here yet? Yeah, it's actually hard to find a quote-unquote full laptop for 300 euros in Portugal anyway. Well, you can join Jitsi Jill, even though Venn isn't there. If there's something odd with your volume, it'll be sorted. Let's see. Yeah, if you want to get a cheap laptop, eBay is your friend, if you don't mind doing some work to it. Because you can get maybe the case and the motherboard and not much else for about £100. Oh, that changed. Jill, you there? You might want to mute yourself, Jill. That doesn't sound good. Thank you. Lower the volume a little bit. There's a lot of background noise there.
Okay, is that better?
It's not as loud, yes, but there's still... Well, there's background noise and there's me hearing myself, so we can't have that.
Yeah, I'm hearing you just fine.
Yeah. We can hear you just fine. We can also hear everything that's going on in the background. And my voice coming in or out through your speakers.
Okay, yes. What if I just I turned off video, so...
Yeah, the issue is the audio.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah, no, that's way too loud.
Okay.
What's going on?
So Jill managed to get her connection up and running, but there's background noise. A lot of background noise.
Hmm. What's in the box?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Is that still sounding bad? I've got it at 20% right now in Pavu control.
Okay, I can hear the background noise, but Venn would be able to tell more accurately. Oh, there's whatever that scratching is.
Nope.
Can't have that scratching.
That's gotta get muted. Sorry. I don't have anything down here to open a box. Such is my life.
That's why I keep one of those teeny tiny, like Swiss Army knives as a keychain.
I normally have stabby instruments of stabbing. The only thing I have down here, which normally I wouldn't give two Fs about, is a ballpoint pen. These open boxes easily, but this is the only good one I think I have in the house, so I don't want to risk damaging it because it writes.
Yep. Jill, if you're listening to us right now, try a dedicated microphone, because whatever that was, we could hear ourselves.
Yeah, I think we'll go until 3:40, but at 3:40 we're gonna have to call it because we got to get going.
Yes. Oh yeah, there's like plenty of thrift stores over here. It's just that most of them only sell clothes or china. It's like little teeny tiny ceramic pieces that I'm sure would look pretty on shelves, but we don't have shelves.
I don't know. Maybe once a month I'll hit the thrift stores, but
whenever I go to city center.
My problem is if I'm going to take the time to go to one, I'm going to buy something. So it's not a good experience because I usually don't have anything I want. And like I'm going to buy some hangers. I don't need hangers, but I'm buying some.
Yeah, no, most of them around here only sell clothes. So, yeah, it's not fun. The big ones like you do in the US, where it's basically an entire department store, but just filled with secondhand stuff.
Oh, there's one that took the place of a Best Buy, like an old Best Buy, when they were big stores.
Mm-hmm.
Junk. They don't have anything good. But when you need cables on the cheap, check your thrift stores.
Yeah.
Always worth it. Because I was getting ready to buy a gang of HDMI cables, and I was like, wait a minute. It's one of the beautiful things about HDMI. It either works or it doesn't. Not much troubleshooting.
All right. That's 5 minutes. Let me just go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. Oh, I see Jill.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
We can see you. It's a bit freeze-framey. It was a good run. We're making progress. I don't know, I think the worst it's ever been is on LGC Weekly. I think we've started a show at midnight 30. 12:30. That was the thing. All right. Let's get this wired. That's set. That's blurry. That's a neat effect. Okay. I think that's it. Good to go. I got a box down here. I'm not 100% what's in it. So, hopefully it doesn't explode. It'd be bad. I didn't even check to see who said it. Jill's electricity just turned on. Might pull this off after all, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you're going to send me explosives, make sure you kill me. You don't want to be on the receiving end of that. This is how long it takes Major to get a beer. I'm not kidding. But it does have a nice, shiny blue microphone. Look at that. So, we're going to keep this shut just in case.
Alright.
Alright, you made it back.
Yes. So Jill's gone again?
Yeah, a little bit. Said the power just came back on, though.
Okay. Right on the clock, too.
Strider, I can't imagine why you would get a single question about the Upside Cage Tower. Unless you're just watching it at work.
I get a lot of questions if I have the show on at work so I can listen. It's like, why is this happening? What's that? What's going on now? Is it just watch the show once in your life?
Dak, I don't think that's how Jitsi streams work. I'm not 100% on this, though, so don't quote me. So the latency's not too bad with near real time if we do that.
Yeah.
It was averaging about 3 seconds.
That's not too bad at all.
I mean, there is a penalty performance on video quality, but I don't think it'll be that bad because I didn't realize that you were smashing down an image.
Mm-hmm.
Which is going to curb check image quality in the first place.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think it would, but it does.
I even set like the scaling to the highest that OBS will support. There's a Jill.
Oh my god. Well, I kind of got it working on my remote setup. The problem is my LTE, I wasn't getting any signal in this room. So I couldn't, yeah. So I set up my remote rig and it does work. If I play around with it, I probably would have gotten it pretty good, but I just had to plug in my nicer mic that I used for the foobar when I was at the Star Trek convention. Oh my god. Sorry about that, everyone. I hope it doesn't go out again. But at least my UPS works. But everything went down. Internet, everything. All the neighbors were outside. Like, a car hit a pole. And it caused havoc.
Isn't that like a strange communal thing that people do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, oh, power's out. Everyone outside now.
Oh my god. I was freaking out. But hey, I got my mobile solution to work. It just wasn't perfect yet.
There you go. Why would you think that no porn audio was sent through the stream, man? Or are you just making conversation?
Huh?
Weird conversation topic, but okay.
Okay. Got everything up. Oh. Oh, yeah, my scale mug. Their scale 16x mug. Yay, once again. I need to... Actually, I have tons of scale mugs. I need to put the other ones in rotation.
All right.
So, yeah, because... we're right next to Time Warner, the internet company. So if our power goes out, it's likely that theirs goes out until their generators kick in.
If I was right next to Time Warner, it would just be like knock on the door, and I'd have an Ethernet cable in my hand. I'm like, yo.
Well, it's still.
Can you plug this in somewhere? Thanks.
Yeah. Oh Lord. Okay.
All right. Hang on, I gotta reset that shot. Boop.
Yes.
We totally weren't gonna go on without you, Joe. We were waiting.
Oh, thank you. I was so freaking out.
Let's see. I'm gonna name these better. That's a 3-shot and boop and boop. There we go. I gotta redo our shots though, or we're gonna be
Yes.
a little tight.
I can scooch a little bit so you can only redo yours.
Hey, you're good, man.
For the sake of time.
It just takes 2 seconds to scooch in the place where you scooch.
Okay. I have scooched.
I don't like that place. I disagree.
Okay. I've scooched some more.
All right. There we go. And oh, how tight can we get this? And there we go.
I can't hear Jill.
Okay.
She's not talking.
All
Right.
right.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I had it muted because I was sneezing.
Okay.
You didn't see that?
Yeah.
Nope. I just saw a mouth moving and no sound coming out of it.
Man, that's the universal signal for sneezing. Is like the random arm spasms of like ah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's do a show.
Yes.
Boop. Boop. Got that. We made it in plenty of time, Jill. I mean, we didn't even cut any stories out.
Oh, oh, thank you. Oh. I was getting worried there. I was like, oh no. Oh no.
So
I thought I was going to have to tell you to go on without me.
oh, we're not that type of team. Not even us, me, Pedro, and Jordan. This is like, it's good knowing you.
He's dead. Show must go on.
Show must go on. All right, let's do this. You ready? Everybody composed?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, everyone, let's play a game of What Did I Forget to Do? Coming at you in 3, 2.
Chrome won't bring Linux to old books, even more than at last count, and someone made a Power over Ethernet Pi, which powers 4 Pis.
After 8 months of work, UBports releases Ubuntu Touch OTA 4 release. Will there be a future for a Linux-based phone OS? Question. Open source Hollywood Blender And now Blender is not only being taken seriously, but companies want to collaborate with the Blender Foundation. Awesome.
And ladies and gentlemen, Intel once again tried to Intel, as only Intel can do. But fortunately, the internet was having none of it. More on that in a minute. We're going to talk about Windows 95 running an Electron, because apparently that's the thing you can do now. We're also trying to get our feet under us because everything just caught on fire. Go back and watch the pre-super shows, or just the regular, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, it's another great day for Linux, everyone. So let's
Yay.
go. 3, 2... And welcome back to Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays, where we're going to take that midweek break and talk about some of the fun things going on in Linux and open source. I'm Vince Stone, joined every week by Hollywood Jill, you know her, in L.A., and all the way from Britannia, one Pedro Mateus.
Hello.
And together we form 3 people talking about Linux and open source stuff. That's just kind of, listen, we're
Wrong show.
we're going to do it anyway, so hey, why not? It's definitely a thing. Before we get going, what's new with everyone? Jill, outside of your power failing minutes before the show.
Oh no. Well, I was very happy yesterday because my Steve husband came home from a week of being in Montana. So that was the longest I'd ever been out without him. So that was wonderful. And but while I was gone, I picked up a Radeon RX 560 4 gig to play around with and test the Vulkan with the open source Mesa drivers, and that'll be a lot of fun. I have some older AMD GPUs and Radeons, but I wanted to play with a new one. So Team Red, here we come.
Pedro, what's new with you, my man?
Well, I finally got all the parts necessary for the Steam box. There it is. It's packed in there. It's working. Sort of, because there are several issues when it comes to Raven Ridge APUs and Linux, but more on that Saturday show, What You Love So Much. Stick around.
I haven't done too much over here. I'm trying to get our show notes kind of in order, because we give those out as early access. Tonight, this is what we call it, so you can get in and like give us suggestions and tell us we're stupid before the show goes out. And did that, and I played BioShock for the very first time. So
cool.
been poking the protons and pretty much it. So let's just get right into this, because Pedro, you're not getting any Linux apps for that Chromebook.
Actually, I am, because of the new list of Chromebooks which are not getting Linux apps, which were recently revealed by Google. They basically said all the Chromebooks which currently run Chrome OS on the 3.14 version of the kernel, those won't get any Linux app support. And they give you the list, and I'm looking through all the Acer ones. It's like, oh, it's not there. Oh, it's not there. So yeah, I got pretty lucky when it comes to the R11. It's the Cyan for the like the code name. They all have different code names. They're mostly Final Fantasy or video game characters. A lot of them are Final Fantasy characters. But yeah, it's that one, the R11, is going to get them. It's already in beta. If you're signed into the beta version of Chrome OS, you can already play around with some Chrome apps, and they work, which is kind of awesome to see. So yeah, no, I'm good, but it's got to bite a little bit for people who bought the older versions.
Well, I would say that, you know, you didn't buy a Chromebook expecting to be able to run native Linux apps. You didn't. So this is This is a little bit of a bonus soda, and I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong, since a lot of these Chromebooks have a hard time running Chrome OS. But Jill, you had some thoughts on this.
Yeah, I'm just going to stick to Crouton on my unsupported Chromebooks because running containerized apps on them would just be slow anyways. And why do that when I can run Debian apps natively? So on my older Chromebooks, I can't run it anyways, Christini. And but I was thinking of getting a new Chromebook just so I can play around with Christini, get a cheap Chromebook and see actually how it runs on a supported one.
Good times. Ubuntu Touch OTA 4. It's a thing. It's out. I didn't even know this was still in development.
Yeah. So after 8 months of work, Ubu Ports releases Ubuntu Touch OTA 4 release. This is the first major release since Canonical dropped the project. And a number of security fixes and more number of security fixes, more stability and performance improvements are on the new release, and it upgraded from 15.04 LTS, actually just 1504 to 1604 LTS, and from QT 5.4 to QT 6.9, and that will definitely
Yeah, okay. You did a typo in the show notes there.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you, Pedro. and new power saving features to boot. And actually, the upgrades have been postponed till the OTA 5 release to fix some bug fixes. So you will need to update them manually. But I'm actually really, really excited about this because I have the older version on my OnePlus One phone. And I've always loved the Ubuntu Touch experience because the look and feel is really, really nice. But the older releases were a little sluggish. So I'm hoping that this fixes all those issues, and it looked like it will.
All right.
So
it's the I hope that even with Canonical dropping it and everything else, I hope that this will become it's not going to ever become a competitor for Android. That ship has long since sailed away. But I want it to be a viable phone OS. Something something that works, something that you can still use your phone as a phone and have some extra stuff on accounts of you having a smartphone. But unless I find myself in a position where I'm in possession of more phones that I know what to do with, I'm probably going to give it a pass.
Yeah.
I don't know. Aww. I mean, my first thought is, hey, we have Sailfish, and that's the thing. And you can definitely listen. I got to quit hitting that button. But I was more interested in that. There's the Ubuntu Touch audiocast, and there's 32 episodes of it. I'm going to go listen to that because I have no idea how you can do 32 episodes on a mobile operating system, which is awesome. I'm not saying that is a bad thing. I'm excited. So I will go check that out.
Intel. Check out what Intel did.
Intel. This has since been updated, but the initial headline reads, Intel says no more benchmarks on Linux and new terms of microcode update, which they basically did because, well, Intel is used to being able to get away with this kind of stuff. Just not anymore, but Intel had to try. It's like, LOL, joke. But, initially there was a clause in the fine print that prevented benchmark of comparison test results from being published. And, unsurprisingly, everyone had a problem with this. Like 100%. That was a thing.
Except for Fedora and Red Hat.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah. Even the Linux distributions were, that's one story. The other story is everyone like, wait a minute, we can't even test this and tell people. But, Intel updated the microcode, they updated the licensing, and that only after the internet pulled a WTF mate on them. I'm like, oh, okay, we're going to revise it so you can do it. Because what is this about? Is this basically, did it curb check performance to mitigate, the flaws between Spectre and Meltdown that hard? And they're like, nobody look behind the curtain.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Yeah, no, the microcode update is Intel's latest effort to mitigate even more of the Spectre issues. And as predicted, as everyone was saying for when Spectre and Meltdown first became a thing, that's going to introduce a performance dip if you're going to disable speculative prediction. So, lo and behold, it did, and Intel felt threatened enough to say, no, you can't publish software benchmark or comparison test results. And the last time that Intel went after benchmarks, it was when AMD's T-Bread processor was kicking their proverbial posterior. And since they got caught manipulating the benchmarks back then, I wonder if they thought, oh, you know what we could do? We could just prohibit people from publishing them outright. Yeah, that worked well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it could be a little bit of maliciousness. It could just be Intel going, well, let's see if we can get away with this.
It could be testing the waters. Absolutely, yeah.
Joe,
Yeah, I was proud of Debian. I said, good on you, Debian. And really, I think they're just really worried about worsening performance and Intel lying about it, like they have in the past.
Intel, I don't hate you as much as these two do. I'm looking forward to your video card. Call me.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what they do with the GPU. It's their CPUs that, they're not top dog anymore. Well, they are, but they haven't had a good couple of 8 months.
Well, since we're often accused of universally hating on GNOME for some reason, let's hate on GNOME. Ubuntu and CentOS are undoing a GNOME security feature. Current versions of Ubuntu and CentOS are disabling a security feature that was added to the GNOME desktop environment last year. That's right. Bubble wrap, pop, pop. Oh, no one see me get freaky? Is that how the, what nerdy one? Yeah, all right. Anyway, it was added to secure GNOME's thumbnail parser July 2017 with the release of GNOME 3.26. Kind of logically, they looked at it and they said, hey, man, this is a new security feature, and we're going to leave it out because there's not enough resources to get it tested, to get it audited properly. And hey, they won't know if it's really a security feature until somebody audits the code. So I can't really fault them for that, maybe.
No, absolutely. No. And to be fair, I too would have felt inclined to leave out something that the GNOME project laid their hands on. But alas, the full desktop environment still made it to Ubuntu proper with 1804, so what do I know? They also say at the end of the article, they talked to one of the canonical engineers, and he said that all packages promoted to Ubuntu main have to go through a thorough review process, which takes time. Where was that thorough review process when Unity became the default? Or, GNOME for its memory leaks?
Pedro, right on. Actually, that's what I was thinking through the whole article. What with Unity and all their lenses and advertisements. So yeah. I understand.
100%. I mean, I get it, and what they're doing, I don't have a problem with, because you don't know, even if something has the best of intentions, it could have underlying issues. So, not a problem. And listen, I think we've worn out hating on Unity. Come on. I mean,
yeah.
There's a reason it died, so I'm going to keep pounding on that puddle. So I'm
just saying, don't kick a desktop manager when it's down.
Okay, so since we've been hating on GNOME, let's talk about something that GNOME is actually doing right, which few and far between. They do some things right every now and then. And one of those is the Linux virtual firmware or Linux vendor firmware system, which is a way for vendors to make their firmware upgrades available for all the different hardware. And we already talked about this. Lenovo joined a couple of weeks ago, and now Akitio? Something like that. Yeah,
that's...
basically, the only thing I know that they make is external GPU enclosures. And the Node, which is their baseline model, the one that seems to sell the best, and the one I've been looking at to perhaps give Nori for her Christmas gift. Yeah, it's so she can actually play games on her laptop, and they are now supplying the firmware for the Node in the LVFS. It's only in testing right now, so you may want to keep that in mind if you have one of these. But yeah, it's great to see, and it's something that's actually useful, because if you have a laptop with a Thunderbolt port, you kind of really want to, plug in an external GPU through it.
Yeah, this is really awesome, because it'll make the old laptops be able to play the modern games. It's pretty cool. And I've been wanting to get one of the Nodes as well and play around with it. So that's really cool. And also in the update, Richard Hughes states that Lenovo also added support for the ThinkPad T460 series on the LVFS. So that's really cool too. So every week it seems like we're going to get more firmware, and the more the better.
Oh, whatever. System 76 would like a word with you, young lady.
Yeah.
They know that right quick.
Yeah.
No. The external closures, Thunderbolt, that's neat. I can never get one because then I would be incapable of giving a wimpy static for having one himself. And there is that. But Jill, you got some interesting news about Blender this week.
Oh, yes. Open source Hollywood Blender. Yay. This is exciting. So 2 weeks ago on LWW, we talked about how amazing it was that the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences teamed up with the Linux Foundation. And they formed the Academy Software Foundation to advocate for the use of open source software in the film, television, and gaming industry. Ton Rosendahl, chairman of the Blender Foundation, attended ZGraph. That's the annual computer and visual effects convention that happens every year around the world's largest one. And that's actually where the Academy Software Foundation was announced during the keynote, which is amazing in and of itself. Linux Foundation was at ZGraph. So, but what was awesome is, this is Ton's report, his blog, that he met with Oculus, AMD, Intel, NVIDIA, Wacom, Epic Games, Adobe, and Josh Stamm, formerly from Autodesk and Elias Maya. And he also talked with Kronos to talk about implementing the Vulkan API into Blender.
Ooh.
Yes, that's very, very sweet. And but what's really, really amazing is Ton noticed a few years ago that Blender was finally being taken seriously in the animation industry. But at this year's SIGGRAPH, companies were actually wanted to do business with them, and we're talking with them. So that's a major milestone in our favorite open source animation software. And this is really, and now Blender is setting the open source standard of which everyone is going to follow in the animation industry. And all the companies want to collaborate with them. And this is just really, really amazing. And it's all the companies, Elias, Autodesk, all of them want to collaborate with Blender. And even if those companies aren't using Blender directly, they'll add the plugins for Blender within their software. So in open source.
Let's hope they can contribute those modifications upstream. Please don't pull a canonical on that one. Please.
Yes.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how exactly this shakes out in the future. I mean, like right now in industry, if you're looking at character animation, you're dealing with Maya. If you're doing rigid body animation, stuff like that, you're going to be dealing with Cinema 4D. Those are your mainstays. That's what you're going to walk into if you're walking into a studio. Blender has been making inroads, no doubt, and it's good to see. And for a long time, I mean, Blender was about as friendly as a coiled rattlesnake, but its functionality and its usability have greatly increased, and it's good to see this.
This is just really awesome. And actually, even Disney use use open source plugins in Maya. So because Maya doesn't do everything they need to do, often they need to use several programs. And I've done work on movie trailers and commercials, and I'm seeing the change to open source, and it's just wonderful.
It's good times. So Linux isn't secure, Pedro.
No, it isn't. According to a team of academic and government-backed researchers, the monolithic Linux code is basically the reason that Linux is just awful when it comes to security. That's what they say anyway. So yeah, it's the team in New South Wales, Australia, where they basically took the Linux kernel, because it's open source and they could have a look at it, and they saw that with the 20-something million lines of code that they have in there.
Million source lines of code.
Yes.
Yes.
They have, they basically have everything built into the kernel. And we've seen that. If you have ever run Linux and have had a look or have had a chance to compare like a deblopped kernel to the regular Linux kernel, you'll know that there are significant differences between the two, especially when it comes to 3D acceleration. But having everything in the kernel is, or could be, a major security risk if there is a bug. If something isn't working as intended, then that will make the kernel much more vulnerable than it would otherwise be. And since the kernel is so big, anything that's running with kernel permissions is going to affect the entire system. And that is their main argument as to why this is a bad idea. Now, I know that I am very much waiting for the Linus Torvalds comment on this particular subject.
Personally, I think this is too stupid to deserve a comment, man. I mean, come on. Yeah, you know what? Microkernel systems, they could be more secure, but this entire thing is a complete hypothetical, a little bit biased since they kind of left out, I don't know, OS X. They left out Windows. 100% on that.
Also monolithic kernels.
Monolithic kernels in general. That's the thing. That hangs out. I mean, the entire point of the study is like, hey, man, you know what? We could absolutely make humans, live longer if we could make them raptor bus proof. But while that is true, they would live longer if they could survive both getting eaten by a raptor and being run over by a bus. It's probably not going to happen anytime soon. However, Google is working on raptor bus proof technology in the form of Fuchsia, which is a microkernel design. So that grab some popcorn, watch that. But this entire article kind of struck me the wrong way. This is like, really? Come on. Really? Okay.
It's like the way that they worded it, and even the quotes that they got from the team of researchers. It's like, yeah, you're clearly trying to push something. Do you work for GR security? Well, what are you playing at?
Oracle, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
They're working for big microkernel.
Yes.
Wake up, sheeple. Okay, a little bit of fun before we get out of this. That's Windows 95 exhibit style. That's right. Poop emoji, rocket emoji. So you know you're in for fun. This is Windows 95 in Electron. Runs on Mac OS, Linux, and Windows. That's meta. It is what it says on the tin. This is a Windows 95 running an Electron app. Yes, it's the full thing. Period. I'm sorry. Period. Standalone download, 64-bit and 32 bits available. Does it work? Oh, yes, it does. Shouldn't this have been a native app? Absolutely. Does it run Doom? The answer is yes, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's very slow, but it does.
Yes.
This is just a little bit horrifying. Also, let me run it in a browser. In a VM.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be funny.
It's what really baffled me was like, okay, this was a joke. That's neat. It's going to have one release and stuff. We're going to see another update. Nope. 2 days ago, Windows 95 v1.3, a bit more help. Yes. So apparently, the developer is so much into this particular joke that he's even including all of the help files that come with Windows 95.
Yes. And they just included floppy disk support on the latest version. That was awesome. But this is, let's Electron all the things, including Linux distros now, which actually would be cool. But do we really want to see them run slower? That's my question. And then, I
will make the argument that for the sake of preservation, that might not be a bad idea. It's easy to run. Anyone can spool one up. That might not be a bad idea.
And actually, to me, when I was playing around with it, I was seeing this as more of a modern Wayback Machine. Electron, the modern Wayback Machine.
These more emulators.
Yeah.
Admittedly, when it first came out, I did have that morbid curiosity, but it wasn't enough to try it out. So I assume it works. By all reports, it works. And you too can go back to the dark ages and try some of those horrifying experiences. But that's going to do it.
It is slow.
For our little bit of news. Pedro, we're coming up on the part where we get to thank the people who make this show possible.
There's a lot of you lovely people funding us and making this insanity what we call a midweek show possible. And you too can support us by going to linuxgamecast.com. You hit the support button, and there's a multitude of ways you can pick your Amazon affiliate links, your Newegg affiliate link. There's an Amazon wish list if you don't want to give us money, so to speak. You'd rather
who would be crazy enough to give us money, Pedro?
Oh, I don't know. There's
Pedro,
over 100.
No, you're making this up. because
No. If you go to patreon.com/LinuxGamecast, there's an insane number of people. Seriously, a lot of you have decided to part ways with your hard-earned money, and you basically decided to give a teeny tiny little bit to us, and we very much appreciate it. It lets us do this show. It lets us do the Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Friday streams. It's all thanks to you, and we thank you very, very much.
you even get access to something called Love the Touching. That's an actual title that we have.
Oh yeah.
Because we do like the dance for our coin. We're just like, oh, doors. It's like, no, we got some early access stuff. We got some cool Discord rewards. There's a new thing I'm cracking out. I should have just called it the Atomic feature, because our pre-super shows is going to have a creep feature. One thing I'm trying to do right now is I just put a post up on the Patreon page for everyone who is a Death Note and above, because we like naming people silly names. Those are people with show note access. If you currently want and don't have, leave a comment on that. I've already had a couple people do that, and we'll make sure you're in that completely non-automated system that arbitrarily gets updated when I remember it's still a thing. But we need to thank Aldous.
Yes, Aldius is our new patron, and he's awesome. He's already came in on our LGC after shows and play. That was awesome. And Vera Tenuta increased his pledge, and that's really, really wonderful. Thank you, Vera Tenuta. He's been around for a while.
The naked truth.
That's awesome. Keeping us loud, live, and independent. We're doing this, 4 days a week with all types of things. You should go back and check out Pedro. Pedro played with Proton. Which,
last night's stream was Stalker, Shadow of Chernobyl in Proton. So have a look at that.
And Jill, you and Jordan are going to play a board game or something Thursday, right?
We're going to play the Lasers and Feelings RPG. Yeah, so we're going to have fun with that. And Jordan has made a new template for it.
You definitely want to tune into that, because I talked to Jordan, and Jordan is nervous about it, so it's probably just going to be a dumpster fire. So
Jordan is actually hyped about it, so go in there and crush his feelings.
No, Jordan is so prepared. I think it'll be fun. We'll just be fine.
Yeah, well, you see, that's why you don't get too prepared, because then it goes wrong. Then you're like, man, I wasted all that time getting prepared for this, and nope. That's a thing. What say we get into a slice pie?
So someone decided to bring a DAC and a DC to the Pi. So you may remember when the Raspberry Pi 3B Plus was announced that they said that, oh yeah, it will totally support power over Ethernet, but it doesn't really support it out of the box, so to speak. Now there's something that will actually let you do that. It's a little hat. It's what they call the little things that you can put on top of the GPIO pins, and they do a multitude of things. This one literally enables
I dare you to get that through the TSA.
Oh yeah. So it enables you to actually get power over Ethernet. Yeah, and what you can do with those, what is it, like 40 something watts, 50 watts that you can get over Ethernet?
45 something.
Yeah, 45. Yeah. What you can do with it is you can make that little hat with the 4 Raspberry Pi Zeros, which they called a cluster hat. That just blew my teeny tiny Portuguese mind, because oh, it's a Pi powering 4 Pis.
That was so cool. Aw, this is actually kind of actually revolutionary in that it makes remote deployment of the Raspberry Pi embedded equipment, routers, and switches even cheaper, because you don't have to run extra power lines, and no extra power or even an SD card is needed for the Raspberry Pi to run. So for a company that's deploying hundreds of these, very cost effective. So
I love the idea of power over Ethernet. I know it's been out a long time. Absolutely 100% don't trust it a minute.
I think it's, for me anyway, it's easier to trust like 45 watts coming in through the Ethernet port than a 1200 watt power supply.
Logically, that makes perfect sense, and my brain meets. However, something about Ethernet data bit noodles carrying power, I'm like, I don't know about this.
That's what the extra cables are there for, right? You only need like 4 of them.
It's terrifying. All right, soda popping.
Yes. So someone decided to go crazy with his Raspberry Pi project, and they had a free locker, and they decided, you know what would be great in there? A soda machine. That's what they did. They grabbed the Raspberry Pi, they grabbed a teeny tiny LCD display, a little coin receptacle, and it gives you the credit count. You hit the button, and you either get Mountain Dew or Dr. Pepper. That just goes beyond neat. That is someone who went at this with a purpose. He had this in mind. He very clearly had this, like, yeah, no, this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, this is just awesome. It's a 17-year-old in high school, and this is a great project. I could have seen my brother doing this back in the day. So that's definitely cool. And he's making a little money off it to boot.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying when I see this. I mean, you know, kids, I mean, if you're looking for a way to supplement that allowance, you're lucky if you got an allowance. I'm just saying, you know, gray market consumables in secondary school or even primary school.
Yeah.
It's you find the closest, cheapest grocery store you can find. You buy all the cheap soda cans, and you sell them at like 100% profit. You're gold.
Well,
if you live close to school and you don't need your locker, you're gold.
There's definitely a thing. I think everyone's experienced it, no matter what part of on the earth that you're at. There was always that one kid that was smart enough to buy candy and sell candy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh. I always want to go back and figure out, you know, like, where's that person at now? That's going to do us, ladies and gentlemen. Bit of a short show, but we got through it. And if you would like to chat with us, Pedro, we got some feedback this week, but it was we always answer your feedback, and the feedback was like question based of like, yeah, I could Google. It's first page of Google question. So I wrote you back, but we'll get back to you next week. How can they do that, Pedro?
Well, if you'd like to leave us something that you can't find the answer for in the first page of Google, you can go to linuxgamecast.com, you hit the contact button, make sure to pick LWDW from the little choosy box. That's what I'm calling it, and I'm sticking with it. Just fill out your name, your email, the subject, and your message proper, and then you will probably be asked to train the Google AI. So that's really the only bit that's hard. Well, Venn got lucky there.
Sucker.
So yeah, no, that's it. You send us a message through there, or you can leave us a comment in the comments on the website below the post, or on YouTube. Chances are we'll probably see it on YouTube, but if it gets missed because I don't know, sometimes it happens, just send us a message through there and relay your comment through the submission form. We will be very happy to get back to you.
All right, beautiful people. We're going to cut on some music, roll some credits, and thank everyone. Again, let me see if this works. I still have a very rigged system right now.
Okay. Cool.
And it blew up. Oh, there's music.
Yay! I hear the music. And thank you to all our wonderful patrons. Oh, and thank you, M. Fox Dog, for the open source Hollywood Blender story. Oh, Portugamer, Portugamer, and thank you to Arthur for the a KTO to the LVFS story. That was awesome. I meant to thank you during that. So, and thank you to all our wonderful patrons and chat realm who supports us. You guys are wonderful, and we love you. And
brought to you by Jill, Venn Stone, and the Portugamer.
Oh my god! Oh my!
Bye.
Bye, chat room. Oh. We did it!
There we go.
Yay! Aww. Name spelled properly. Aww.
You know, when I saw the extra S in there, it's like, what are you playing? Oh.
Ben!
What?
That was cool.
It's about time you people realize I'm a silly bitch.
So you know what happened? The electric company called me twice during the show to let me know my electricity was back up.
You see, Joe, this is why you're supposed to put your phone on silent.
Yeah, well, I do, but because of the power went out, it reverted back to, making noise. So.
No, you got to double check it because you got to stop because Steve would be like, "Oh, I'm gonna mess with Joe."
Yeah.
Got to cut him off 30 minutes a week. Say no.
Yay! Hello, Art Theron.
Yeah, you got to
Thank
be
you.
a Portia gamer because I honestly didn't feel like hitting a space button.
That was awesome.
Pedro Mateus required me to press a space button. I was like, man, just do Portia gamer. One word. Let's take a look. These are always worth looking at. I am a silly.
Yes.
Oh, on the gun, huh? Google Choosy Box. Shepherd. Biception. Might be good.
Checking Ben's package.
That's what you do all the
I
time,
think that
Steve.
was before the show. It doesn't count.
Aw.
I
And
mean,
thank you everyone for waiting for me. That makes me feel
seriously,
good.
if he doesn't quit hounding me for pictures, I'm going to have to contact the authorities. I'm going to go get a knife and figure out what the hell's in this box. I'm not saying that's been distracting me the entire show, but kind of.
Yeah, and I think what was happening earlier when I was going on remote is I think the LTE just wasn't connecting good enough. I just didn't have a good enough signal. I think that's why it was so bad.
The signal was fine. It was the echo. I could hear myself after I talked with like a second delay. So it means that there was audio bleed coming into the microphone from somewhere.
Okay. Huh. Interesting. But yeah, so I was hooking up my really nice mic because I was in a hurry. So I was I had my good headset. So I go, well, let me try this first to try and get something going, and then. But the other mic would have worked, I'm sure, much better. Yeah. That's the one I used.
Dedicated microphone is the way to go.
Yeah, but that one takes longer to set up, so that's why I was like, got the headset real quick. Let's see if something. Well, that was good to know that the LTE was fine. Were you seeing my video at all?
Yes.
Oh,
well,
okay.
we can see the top of your head.
It actually worked. Oh, okay. Huh. Yeah, I'll have to figure out what that bleed was.
Yeah.
On that, but I know the dedicated mic is just fine. So. So it did work. It did work over LTE. It was really slow though. I was trying to load Google Docs. Oh my god! It takes about 2 minutes just to load Google Docs.
As someone who did Linux Gamecast Weekly for the better part of a year on a laptop, I can tell you for a fact that that's not.
No.
i3 370M. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I downloaded the PDF of it and put it on that machine just so as soon as I got Google Docs up, I downloaded the PDF so it would take up less memory. And I did that on this rig also because of what happened last week where Google Docs crashed. And it was confirmed it was Google Docs because it had been going down for my brother too. Mm-hmm. So the server here had been going down. So they were doing some upgrades or something. Hi, Testman.
Effort's
hi,
heavy.
Michelle. And hi, Steve Husband. And what'd you get?
Ooh, microphone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. Oh, you got your dynamic mic you've been wanting?
That's what I'm going to try. This is from the Golden Age project.
Oh, okay. It's not the Heil.
Oh, no. This is not a Heil.
No.
This is much closer to a Shure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I'm using now.
So, we're going to be trying this out. It's got three-way switchable on the back, and I think it can cut enough bass out of the high pass to where my voice will come across correctly.
Yeah, nice.
Otherwise, you'll get Alan Malventano syndrome with certain microphones where you just hear like a constant note. It's like,
yeah.
Oh, you're talking.
I don't know, man. I'm hard to mic up. All right. Period. I mean, I pretty much got to use a condenser mic, a large diaphragm, dynamic. Like I couldn't use a PR like Heil, the PR40, and it's got too much bass into it. I mean, I have the bass cut down on the EQ right now. It's knocked down like 15%. So yeah, we're gonna try it. I bought this on a recommendation from somebody I trust.
Oh, nice.
And it does weigh an actual metric ton. It's not a cheap one, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. I'm just going to leave that sitting there. Test man. Pedro shape. Really?
Yeah, no, the Steam Box 360 with all the parts in there weighs a not insignificant 4.7 kilograms.
Yeah, it's beefy. It's solid.
It's considerably heavier than the Xbox 360 motherboard and everything else that was in there originally.
It would have just been a better FU if you could have done it with NVIDIA graphics.
I can. That's the thing. I can. With a 1030. The low-profile 1030s, I can get a riser and fit it in just perfect, but I would need to have... I would need to have the cable coming out of the front, unless I want to cut a hole in the I/O shield.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's between the 1030 and the Vega 11 that the APU has. It's a bit of a toss-up, to be honest. Like all the performance comparisons I've seen, it's basically the same thing. And it's nice to have an AMD GPU to actually put the games through the ringer.
Yes, that's wonderful. Oh, hello, Katana Steel and Mir PPC. I get to say hello to you because I miss saying hello to you at during the pre-show for obvious reasons.
Oh man, I built a Steam box when it was a thing. When did that? Like 3 years ago?
That's it's a bit too long, Mir. That's the problem. The 1030 is a teeny tiny PCB on it. The 1050 is a full length PCB basically. So that's a little too much because that is a tiny case. That the fan that you can see, like the fan on the CPU heatsink, that's a 92mm fan. That's how tight it is in there.
I want everyone to encourage him to show it off as much as possible because it exponentially increases the chances of him dropping it.
I don't want to drop it.
I know you don't want to.
Oh yes, Arthur, yeah, I'm on the list. I'm going to be playing with Sandy and Jordan, and actually you're on the list as well. Me, Sandy, Jordan, you, and Patrick are on the list to play on Thursday. So, so it's a thing. Yes.
Yeah, it wouldn't need to be a short card, single slot, because there's not enough room.
Yeah, low profile. Yeah, and that's really short. Yeah, that's a really low. I have one case that was almost exactly like that, and it only had, like literally a quarter of an inch. But I found a card that worked in one of my little small form factor computers.
Yeah, no, the heatsink going a little beyond the single slot, that's fine because it would be mounted horizontally, so the heatsink would be facing down against the fans on the top of the case. So it would get cooling, but it would need to be like a 1030, teeny tiny.
Yeah.
Is that entire shock mount blue?
Yeah.
Yes.
All
yeah,
right.
he had to. Yeah, he got a new one, and it's neat because it matches the blue light on the mic. So I think it's cool.
Jill, you missed it. You swung and you missed. You could have said match the drapes.
I'm blue, da-ba-dee, da-ba-da. What?
No. I mean, I remember you saying that when I was getting everything set up when you two were talking. I thought when you said it was blue, I thought it had like a stupid LED on it that was shining.
No.
Oh.
It's just blue. It's I was looking on Amazon because yesterday, as I was saying in the pre not super chosen, but yeah. Yesterday as I pulled the mic arm down, the rubber or whatever it is that's actually holding the microphone horizontally perished, and it just went limp. So I had to run the whole stream with the microphone upright so it wouldn't fall.
Yes.
It would have been more entertaining if you just had the camera on you then.
And it's like, okay, as soon as the stream was done, Amazon, okay, let's have a look. Oh, okay, so the black version costs $12.99. The blue version costs $9.99. The blue version it is then.
Nice.
Well, I figure being the enterprising young man who might have matte black spray paint handy.
Yes.
I do. Well, it's the spray paint itself is not matte black, but I do have matte clear coat.
Mm-hmm.
It may see that treatment yet.
I mean, I'll get you some pink.
Yeah, everyone and Pedro did a beautiful job at masking it. Stephen will be proud. He does that, all the time for a living and gets paid pretty well doing it. but it's really
matte.
It's really
finish.
awesome. It's nice and smooth. I can tell.
It looks so pretty.
You are truly a simple person.
That's the thing, Mir. Even the overclocked card is not going to give that much of a performance delta between that and the APU.
Yeah, the APU. Yeah.
Although, it would probably allow the Steam box to boot reliably. Because it doesn't have to mode set the GPU.
Exactly.
On the CPU. So you may be onto something there, Bear.
Yeah, I know that in China they have a low-profile 1050 card, and but it's not available here in the U.S. But I have seen them on eBay.
Obviously.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we can sell these to people in the West? Okay, cool. That's a lot of trains.
Yeah. Wow.
What's that? China? Oh.
Train maintenance center. Oh, that's just a maintenance center. Okay.
Hello, Alan, Mr. Alert. I saw you came in, and no, you didn't miss the show because the power went out here. Oh, did it go out? It probably didn't go out where you're at. We had, I could actually hear it, the sirens and everything. Someone hit a pole. So that's what was going on there.
Not going there.
Yeah.
Mysterious power outages, never fun. It's always good when you know what the problem is. Then you can pretend. You're like, okay, you can come up with a pretend timeline of like when this is going to get fixed.
Yeah. And usually, when we do have power outages, they are just, brownouts, quick and dirty, and it wouldn't have affected anything if that had been the case, but I was out for about 20 minutes or something like that. Mm-hmm.
Hey, good me six.
Oh, hi Aldius. Hello.
Oh, Zoe, that was genius. But then again, that might just be my ego talking, so.
Oh yeah, Zoe. You're awesome. The portrait. Oh, that's great. I love that. Ooh, I'm going to save that one. Aw, love to our Pedro. And she picked some good pictures too.
Yep.
Oh, that's getting saved.
All right. We got anything else going on? Yay, nay, maybe.
No.
No.
I'm happy we got through the show.
But Jill's power came back just in time.
Well, you gotta look at it this way. At least now you know there's option B.
Yes. Yeah, oh definitely. And that was why I did that for when I was remote at the Star Trek convention. And it does work. And if I had set up my other mark, it would have probably worked pretty well. So, that's really good. And that's a nice machine. I'm running out of my big,
Oh yeah, the
Asus
camera
Republic.
angles changed. No, sorry. I just got distracted. I saw the 3 big antennas coming out of Ven's router there. It's like, oh, right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, he moved it. Yeah.
That's been like that for a month.
I don't pay attention.
Clearly. Oh, you can see the blink. I think you can see the blinky lights. No. Wait.
No.
We could see them during LGC. I could see them.
There's a monitor in the
they're-
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like a weird angle where I was like, get over here.
It's like I can see the antennas because the light that's shining on the wall behind it is like right there. So, ooh, there we go.
That is a thing. All right. We survived this.
Yes.
Indeed.
Fires. Fires.
Go for it next week. See what happens.
Oh.
Yeah. Next week is going to be interesting. I was talking in the pre-show. Tomorrow I'm driving to Atlanta, which doesn't sound bad. Geographically, if you look at it, then I will say, Vin, why do you start driving to Atlanta at 4:30 in the morning on Saturdays? It's like, there's a reason.
Yeah.
As soon as you hit 85, it turns into LA traffic. I mean,
Yes.
going up there tomorrow it's going to be like a 5-hour round trip.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
poor Vin.
hopefully.
How long are you working tomorrow? Like all
I'm
day?
not working tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah, are
you're
we
just-
playing 20 questions at what the end of my sentence is going to be? Go for it. Go for it.
I apologize, Vin. Go on.
No. This is my favorite game. Pedro does it all the time.
Oh, come on. Compared to Jordan, I do it in no time at all.
No.
Yeah,
Jordan just
I
cuts
know.
me
You
off,
guys-
man. And we're about to find out if Jordan's listening. No, dude's studio I went over to, he said he had a mixer in one of his storage units. So he was like, hey, let's go
yes.
shop around.
Cool.
So I'm going to drive up there, take a look. I don't know. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. If I can get it for cheap, or if he even has anything, I don't know. It's exploratory. As I was saying,
Yeah.
long as that transaction doesn't end with him saying, the spider has caught a fly, and I disappear. Pedro, give me a week. I want to see if I can escape on my own, though.
Yeah.
So, like, ignore the death clock email that gets sent out. If I don't respond to it in 3 days, give it like 2 extra days. It'll be a better story if I make it out. But maybe I'll be bringing home a new piece of kit for possibly nothing except for 5 hours
Awesome.
of driving.
Oh, that's really, really great of your friend. That's awesome.
So,
How many ports will it be?
well, it's
Port
got
mixer?
4
Pots?
aux outs and it's got 8 line outs on it. So.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's an old piece. He's like, I think I got an old one. I was like, oh, I don't know. I gotta go look. But main reason I'm going up there is because I want to see what this guy has in his unused, because I've been to his studio and I'm like,
Yeah, that's right. He's the one that you've gotten inspiration from on what you can buy now.
it's like, this is what a $500,000 hobby looks like. All right, that's cool. So yeah, I want to see what he considers his junk and whether or not he's willing to port. The only problem is if he's like a hoarder, he's like, I don't know if I can let this go.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll be on Google and I'm like, how to hide a body.
Van, why are you living in Atlanta all of a sudden? Shut up.
It's like, we got new digs. Party at my place.
Oh. Hello, welcome back, Steve Husband. Yay, I got through the show. Yay.
Yeah, Mr. Alert. I mean, if I had to do that every day, I would live in Atlanta, but also if I had to live inside the perimeter, I would be the poor. I might have like a one little bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because rent in a big city, I know, I live in one, is stupidly expensive.
So I'll deal with my weekly commute and have a house. I understand. When I was young, I didn't understand. I mean, I grew up in the city, and it's like, why would you spend so much time? Later on, you're like, oh, I get it. Mm-hmm. Oh.
Not having to live there.
Yeah.
So
That's why I live in the deep suburbs of LA County, almost just outside of LA County, in fact, because we have parking, we have space, we have family homes. You know, it's like.
Yeah, Toluca has family homes. There is very little in the way of parking space unless you have a garage.
Yeah, Toluca Lake, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I remember you were telling the story about that.
Yep.
oh, I'd be grumpy if
I got
only
to
had 3
drive
days.
some LA traffic.
Yeah. Yeah, the only reason why our neighborhoods have stayed single family is because of our homeowners association stopping developers from coming in. Because we're one of the last communities near the mile from the beach in LA that isn't overcrowded and overpopulated, and we like to keep it that way, and we fight to keep it that way. But we have a good mayor, so he in our city, Torrance here, and he's been very good about stopping all new building. So. And that's really good because then it makes our property value go up too. So it's like, yay! And because I actually have a yard, so I want to keep it that way.
And there's that, ladies and gentlemen. We can't
Carmageddon.
Carmageddon has finally come to Linux in the form of Proton, and we've established
that was awesome.
That the performance is on par with the native Windows client, managing between 6 and 12 frames a second at 1080p.
Yeah.
Oh God,
it's bad. Like laugh. I mean, it's so bad to where you're not even mad. You're just like, oh, that's adorable. Look at it.
That's so cool.
It looks like poo too.
that's why I don't back games on Kickstarter, people.
For
all the Divinity original sins, you get hundreds of Carmageddons.
Zoe. Zoe.
No, you didn't get the memo? Like hating on wine Zoe's thing this week.
Oh yeah.
It might be a multi-week project.
My APC is making noises. It's ran out of juice.
Poof.
Yeah.
It took everything I had not to alt F4 your window.
That would require you to push an extra button to change the keyboard.
Keyboard's right here, dude. Right here. I could reach over and do it. That was the thing when I bought this desk. I was like, this is a stupid place for a keyboard tray. It's not even at the primary. So I was like, oh, I'm glad this tray's here. I don't know. Proton's all right. Everything's all right. I mean, that's one of the issues with Linux, man. Jeez, infighting.
Yeah.
Not enough people to infight? Oh, that's not going to get in my way.
Yeah.
Proton, for what it is, it works pretty good.
Amazing.
And if Valve are going to continue to improve on it, by all means. It's like all those games that you have in your library that don't work on Linux. Now you don't even have to worry about setting up Play on Linux, Lutris, whatever. You just run them.
You can try it. It's what I said Saturday. They did one thing right, is that's takeaway options. It either runs or it doesn't. And I know people are going to make Tinker tools for that. Okay. But for the majority of people, if it's got a whitelist on it and Steam's going to say, okay, these run, that's progress. That's progress in the right direction. I mean, there's Lutris. I don't even think Play on Linux is even maintained anymore, but that's the thing. Wine tricks for people who are more adventurous and they want to get stuff done because they know these games can run under certain configurations. That's great. It's an option. It's beautiful. But yeah, I've also seen some very disingenuous things being said, like thousands of games run under Steam, Windows games.
Thousands of games do. Like,
It was that Forbes article with Steam.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, that's lying to people because that's going to, even though if you can go sit back and go, all right, technically, yeah, all right, 100%. But the person's going to read that. They're going to set up Linux and they're going to try to run game X. And it's like, well, it's just going to run and it's not. Guess what?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, Linux is stupid. That's what that causes. You got to think about things before you say things like that.
Yeah.
Especially on a platform like Forbes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got to, made it very clearly that this is a beta and not all games work yet.
Well, he's doing all right. I mean, he doesn't work
Yeah.
for Forbes. He's an independent contractor. So, I mean, his job is to get people to click and read his article and drive traffic. So he's doing his job. Nothing against that. Mad respect.
Oh, yeah. I think it's wonderful. Every week we're getting a new article from Forbes about Linux.
Until the
because of
traffic
Linux,
starts
so-
dying down, then
Yeah.
No one cares about Linux this time of year, so let's go away.
And it's nice, all the press for Lutris, so I've been really happy about
Luch's is
that.
getting good press. Steam's getting good press. This is a good time. But we've been through this before. We've seen when the hype train rolls in.
Yeah.
And it's responsibility of everyone to kind of like temper some expectations. And because we were talking about that before we went live, or maybe when we were live, I lose track, man. Podcasting amnesia, it's a real thing. People who are just like trying to get upset with people who've been running Linux for 2 decades going, hey, man, maybe you want to calm down on some of this stuff. And we're like, no, you're being a gatekeeper. I'm like, no, we can be friends. It's like, toxic. It's like, yeah, all right. When the hype train pulls out of the station, I'm still going to be here. So, yeah, I'm going to have to say what I got to say while you're back playing on Windows. All right. I understand this is neat. I encourage you to do it. And it's awesome. I want you to do it. But set your expectations accordingly. And, you know, I don't know. Am I wrong in that? Do you walk in somebody else, like in another place and be like, you should do things my way from now on because I just found out about this thing?
Having opinions is a lot like having an asshole. It's great that you have them. Everyone has one. Just, nothing gives you the right to rub it all over my face. So,
Yeah.
No. I think there's plenty of Linux love to go around. And
Exactly.
we don't need to fight over silly stuff.
Yeah, it's dumb. And true that, Free Jack. I love the list. I've contributed to the list already with some games.
Unless it's Strider.
The
I
Google
will
Doc.
give Strider crap till my dying day about whatever he's on the side of. I'll pick the other. It's just fun.
But that's also, in turn, the beauty of the open source community is we have choices. So, yeah, that's what's so wonderful about it.
Well, everything's a choice. There's just some crazy things you run into, and like I run into a lot of things, and I am about to say this with no ego whatsoever. Like I would do a lot more instructional videos, but I don't know what people are looking for. Some things that would appear very basic. Like I probably should make a video on. This is going to sound crazy, probably to every single person listening, because you're like, duh, this is how you do it. But to download YouTube videos with 4K, something I know is like, but you just, you go to the site, install dpackage and set up, or, install the repos, or it's in, the R.
It's actually in the Ubuntu repos YouTube DL now.
Well, I'm talking about, YouTube DL's hit or miss, man. I've converted to 4K. And why? Not because I'm stealing YouTube videos, is because it's the only way for me to get a copy of the full 60 frames per second version out of YouTube without using some weird, bizarre hack. Because YouTube, there's a download button, but it only gives you the 30.
Yep.
Yeah. I use the video downloader and some of the plugins, the good ones.
Windows games are fun. Like I said, I played Bioshock. I owned Bioshock, which was like, wait a minute, this was my thought process yesterday. I own Bioshock? All right.
Yeah.
Click. I just was curious to see if it worked. It worked well enough to play. I put like 50 minutes into it. So, also, like some of the old SNK games from the Neo Geo work, and multiplayer online works. See, that's kind of the cool thing about Proton, is it works with the Steam buddy system, the overlay, so you can do multiplayer. I'm trying to creep on what's going on in Pedro.
Yes.
Do you understand Portuguese?
A little bit.
Nope.
Been dealing with you for 6 years, motherfucker. Sorry, bad language, kids. Apologize. Don't worry.
Yeah. Nori was helping or basically meeting with some other Portuguese people over here in Cambridge because their daughter is having her birthday soon, so Nori's gonna help out.
Aw.
Okay.
Yeah. That was it. Oh yeah, and the husband likes Linux. Apparently he wants to meet with me for some reason.
Awesome.
Oh, you better Neo dodge a bullet that, dude. She's trying to couple friend you. Okay. I assumed you knew that. I was just like, just in case you don't understand what's going on here.
It's fine.
Don't worry when you get there. He's like, what's Linux? I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, too late now, you're here.
It's not like there's, I don't know, 5.5 years of evidence of me talking about something related to Linux.
Oh no, you'll be fine. It's the other dude who's not going to have an idea what Linux is. He's like, I never said anything about Linux. What? Is that a shampoo? Oh, I will always compliment you, Strider, because you're adorable.
Oh, Matthew. I love Matthew. Aw.
Your anger entertains me, and I don't know why. If it made sense, whatever.
Well, there's a Jill,
Hi,
there's a
hi,
Ven,
Nori.
and there's,
Hello, Nori.
And Jill says hi, Nori.
Yeah. Hi.
You gotta say, like, hidey ho.
You gotta say hi.
Idaho. Why do I see a head going left and right?
That's Nicolas Cage.
That's Nicolas Cage. She's like, oh, that's just Ben and his stuff.
Well, apparently Nicolas Cage scared Nori away.
Yeah.
What? You can overlook the 20 by whatever, 18 by 20 Nicolas Cage on the wall, but one inverted Nicolas Cage head gif? That's too
Yeah. Actually, it creeps me out too.
good. There'll be 2 next week.
Yeah, no, we gotta sit down and actually watch some of the Nicolas Cage movies. Maybe we'll convert Nori.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
See? I mean,
Nicolas Cage.
there we go.
Yeah.
Because he is.
Raising Arizona is one of my favorite movies.
And you don't.
Oh, what a nice shot.
That's a brilliant shot.
Yeah, take a
And
picture, Ben.
we have Nicolas Cage here. You know, he's chilling out on the wall.
Yeah,
It's kind of brilliant.
Nicolas Cage posted.
Hi, Jordan. Hi, Rohit.
Just pray I do not break out the hypnobusy.
Hypnotoad?
No hypnobusy.
Oh.
How's it going?
It's weapons grade gif.
That's good, Nori.
Jill says that was good.
Yeah. I got my headphones on. I can't.
Oh, you can, and it will be hilarious.
Okay. And good night.
Okay.
Good night, you guys. Good night, Nori.
No one can resist the hypnobusi. I'll just put it on when I need Jordan to be quiet for a minute.
Oh yeah.
It's like spraying a cat with a water bottle. It's not permanent, but it stops it in its track.
Oh.
Okay, beautiful people. We're gonna bounce out of here. It's almost 5 p.m. I gotta go make a podcast, and I gotta go to the store too. I'm out of food.
Oh.
So that's the thing.
Pedro's luck is like unaccounted for. That was good, Steve husband.
Oh, it's plenty accounted for. It's right there.
Yes. Oh, that's sweet. Oh.
More trees. All right, beautiful people. We'll see you tomorrow with boring games.
The fuck's
So
going on here?
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.